Hello, everyone. Welcome to this episode of Real Talk. I'm Rochelle Marie Lawson, the Queen of Feeling Fabulous, owner of Blissful Living for You and All Day Capable Incorporated. And we have a beautiful show this evening. We're going to be talking about some things, particularly, as you know, this show is about women for women, and we discuss issues that affect us women in today's society. And one of the things that's really important to me is just making sure that we women are heard, um, because if we're not heard, then changes can't be made, right? And we need changes. There's a lot of changes that need to be made. And so we are going to be talking about tonight the opportunity gap. And I'll talk a little bit more about that, but I have some wonderful panelists with me. We have Miss Aura E. Martinez and Nyan Mitra. So
Yes.
beautiful, beautiful ladies. They're here with us. And I've already introduced myself. So let's start with you, Yamitra. Tell us a little bit about you and what you do.
My name is Yamitra Waddell, and I am the only Live Past Crazy specialist. I am the owner of Waddell Consulting Services. I've authored a few books. I am a fan of all things education, and I'm glad to be here. I am your Live Past Crazy advocate.
I love that. Live past crazy, girl.
Yes.
I know there's everybody has needed you at one time in their life, and I know there's a whole bunch of people out there that still need you.
Yes.
It's like an ebb and flow thing. You think you
Yes,
past crazy,
ma'am.
you dip back into it. But yeah, that's a whole nother show. A whole nother show. Well, thank you and welcome for being here. And Aura, tell us about you, you beautiful essence.
Yes, thank you, thank you, thank you for having me here. I am a self discovery and empowerment coach, and I help women gain total clarity in their purpose so that they can wake up to daily fulfillment and certainty. I'm also the founder of Live to the Max, Viva al Máximo, and author of the book Creating a Lifetime of Wellness Start Having the Life You Deserve.
Well, welcome. She's fabulous. She's we've done it. We're doing a couple of things, and she's been a
Yes.
panelist on the show before, and just a fabulous lady. So I love having like this beautiful look. We all blend together too.
Yes.
Like I am a mess. I'm just gonna say I am a mess. But thank you, ladies, for being here with us tonight. And so I really do want to jump into the topic. We only have like 26 minutes, and so I really do want to jump into our topic, and I'm going to read a little bit about it. So all of you guys that are watching us, or maybe listening or seeing this at another time, first of all, if you like the show, please subscribe to the show, share it with everyone you love and care about. It's very important that we create this unity with regards to the topics we discuss on the show, particularly because they are about women and how they affect us. So share this show with every woman you know, love, care about, don't like, whatever. But share the show. It's very, very important, right? Even even those women we don't like, we still need to include them in order to uplift us women, right? I
Yes,
mean,
ma'am.
it's just how it is. The guys do it all the time. They can not like somebody and still uplift them and help them make millions of dollars. We don't like somebody and we kick them to the curb totally. We need to change that, right? So this is what that show is all about. But tonight's topic is the opportunity gap. And it, generally speaking, the opportunity gap refers to the unequal or inequitable distribution of resources and opportunity, while the achievement gap refers to outputs, the unequal or inequitable distribution of educational results and benefits. America prides itself on creating the opportunity for all citizens to pull themselves up by the bootstraps. We aspire to have a fair playing field and want every child to have the opportunity to succeed. There are strong indicators, though, that we are not living up to our aspirations, and many communities and individuals are experiencing a titled playing field. And as women, how can we, some of the things that we're going to discuss, or one of the questions we're going to discuss is how can we respond to that? So, with regards to us women in the opportunity gap, what I want to ask you, ladies, is where have you experienced or been a witness to that whole factual thing with regards to opportunity gap, particularly for us women? And then I'm going to take it deeper with regards to us women of color, because for women, there's a opportunity gap, but I think the opportunity gap gets even wider for women of color. So, Yamitra, why don't you go ahead and take this question with regards to what have you seen or experienced when it comes to the opportunity gap?
I will say for me, what I experienced was actually in my career, where there was the opportunity came to be a senior vice president at my organization. Now, you know how it is, how you do the job, but you don't have the title. And so when the position came available, I said, hey, I want, I want to apply. And the director at the time, all the gentlemen, he gave them time in the morning for their interviews. So the interviews were not rushed. He knows I'm a single parent and I have to, I had to leave at a certain time to pick up kids. He waited until after 5 o'clock to have, he was like, I couldn't fit it in any time sooner. So your interview is going to be at 5 o'clock. And he held that interview until 7. So from 5 to 7, he asked me questions. And so I didn't say anything. I left, I picked up my kids, and the other lady, another lady that was there, she was like, I want you to know he did that for the sole purpose of proving a point that you would not be available at any time or any hours because you were a single parent and you had to take care of your children. And they did not give me the position, even though I did the work. So the opportunity was there, but the discrepancy between who you assume that I am and what I can do, and actually giving me the opportunity to do the job.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's real. That's deep.
Yeah.
That's deep. And you think about what you just shared, how many other women out there are experiencing that,
Right.
right? And whether or you kind of like, oh, they wouldn't do that, or it's real. It's a
Yeah.
real thing. Aura,
Yeah.
tell us, what about you? What have you experienced or seen with regards to the opportunity gap?
Oh, yes. And with this, I'm going to go deep because being from the South Bronx,
Mhm.
where it's considered the ghetto,
Mhm.
right? And I still remember in the 80s, it was all like burned buildings around.
Yeah.
You can see the gap in one, the educational system, how where there's people of color or low income, there isn't as many resources, right? Whereas those that have money or those that are white, I mean, let's just say it like it is.
Mhm.
There's a lot more resources. There's a lot more opportunity. There is the possibility of traveling to more places for kids so they can expand their world. And so to witness that gap, it's so unfortunate because even in the low income communities, we have so much talent, we have so much to offer, right? But unfortunately, because those things are not necessarily available for us,
Mhm.
we miss out. We miss
Mm,
out on really flourishing. Now, I gotta say this: I was very lucky that I went to high school when I did at the time because they still had a few things available. But shortly after, boom, boom, the resources were not there.
Mhm.
I'm pretty sure in other communities where people of money, right, or not of color, those things are available in abundance.
Mhm.
you made an interesting point, and I'm double dipping in recording this because I think this is going to be a powerful show. But you made a few interesting points, and I like that you called it out because everybody wants to say something, but they don't want to call out the system. And in order for us to make change, we've got to call out the system and call it and show it what it is, right? We got to stop sugarcoating it for quote unquote the Karens. We got to call it out because if we keep sugarcoating, there's not going to be a change for people that look like us. So I loved how you shared about the resources. Now, I grew up well, you don't know, but I grew up in the hood too. Well, I don't want to say too because I don't know, but I grew up in the hood as well. And there was such a certain point up until maybe when I got to the fifth grade, went from all black to being one of two black people in the school, and the other black person was my cousin who was a grade ahead of me, right? But but they were always saying, oh, you have all these resources in your community, and we have all these things in play for to help you all to uplift yourself. But a lot of the times, like you were saying, the resources weren't really that good. They weren't as good as they were in other communities that didn't look like mine, and they were very limited. As to what Dramitra was saying, that it was very limited. So yeah, even though they were putting, quote unquote, as they said, more resources into a community, lower socioeconomic community, it wasn't like how it was. What they were saying wasn't how it really was. It was very limited access, subpar, substandard you know, help, so to speak. And so it really just was a perpetual cycle of keeping people in that same cycle. It wasn't anything that was going to lift them out. Now, when I went from the all black ghetto school to being one of two black kids in an all white community, it was completely different. If the child needed something, the resources were there. And they weren't subpar. They were very high quality resources, and multiple. It wasn't just one resource, it was 25 resources, right? In the hood, it was one resource. So there is that opportunity gap that exists in our neighborhoods, particularly lower socioeconomic neighborhoods that affect us as women of color growing up, and those that don't look like us cannot understand our experiences, because what they see or what they hear is we got all these resources coming to our community. What they don't understand is the resources are very limited and they're very subpar, right?
Right.
So we gonna take it there, because that's what I do. But we gonna take it there, and I want to say, ladies, be for real, and I know you are, and I know Yanitra, you will be too. But why do you think that they portray they're giving us all these resources, but they're not? Of course we know why, but I want to hear from you ladies. What are your thoughts? Why do you think, what's the rationale behind that? And I'm gonna start with you, Aura. Why do you think that they do that? And it's all in the media, but those that are in those communities know that it's a bunch of BS.
Wow, this is very powerful, because I think it goes back to, I can't even believe I'm going to be saying this, but I think it goes back to many years ago when racism was it was in our faces, right? When people of color, in particular blacks, were projected a certain way, right? And so there was this brainwashing of how we're supposed to be, how we're supposed to think, that we're supposed to just be content with what is given to us, right? And that's all that is available for us. Now, I want to say this. I want to clarify. I am beyond grateful for all the resources that are provided for us, because my parents being from Dominican Republic, where resources are so limited.
Right.
And I have had the fortune of traveling to places where, like Brazil, the resources are very limited for people that are low income. So we really do have a lot. And I think that us people of color, we have still some ways to go in us also getting united, right? And us taking our power back and helping one another out, i.e., us buying from our own community, i.e., us helping people of color when they have businesses, shopping from them, supporting them, right? So we still have long ways, but I feel that there has been this brainwashing that it is up to us now to get out of that. And rather than demand so much from others, let's demand from ourselves. How do we
Yes,
do that?
girl, preach. Preach, girl, preach.
Yes. How do we do that? By supporting one another. How do we do that? Let's help build our community. How do we do that? Let's fix our own community. Because for as long as we are waiting for someone else, i.e., government, white people, We're not going to progress to the degree that we are meant to be progressing.
I love, oh, girl. Woo!
Mm.
Did
Yes,
she
ma'am.
bring it? I tell you, and so eloquent, right? She
Hmm.
stated some real factual stuff, but very eloquent. And so now, Yamitra, I want you to expand upon that or give us your thoughts with regards to that because
Listen.
this is real talk. We talking
Yes.
some real stuff, and in order for us to help us, we have to
Hmm. Yeah.
talk,
And
girl.
so I would say, as Ara was talking, and you were talking, I wanted to jump in to say is also the process. You know how they give us all these resources. The process for me to apply for a scholarship is 10,000 steps. My daughter, who goes to a predominantly white school, scholarship process is click here to apply. That's it. Her name is pulled in. They don't need anything else. But when she was over here at the predominantly black school, we had 13 pages. We had to do an essay, take a picture. I had to give you the saddest story. I don't want to live like that. And
Right.
then I think when it comes to that too, we're also wrapped up in the white is right. And that it can only, as we are changing our community and helping our community, we can heal and help ourselves our way. And just because white said this is the way you have to heal and grow doesn't mean that makes it the right way for a
Right.
person of color. We're different people, and I think we have to be very clear. And I think sometimes they try to make us equal to say, oh, you have the same opportunities. I'm a person of color, you're not, so it's not equal. It's just not, and it doesn't matter. From everything from healthcare, because I've been in the healthcare field for 22 years, and what got real for me is when my daughter at 2 had a seizure, and we went to the hospital. They didn't think she was going to make it. The next day the doctor said she's fine. He was like, you can go see a specialist. And I was like, yes. He was like, you don't need to. I was like, I want to go see a specialist. I drove an hour and a half to the next city, saw a specialist. It took that doctor, her pediatrician, 2 months to give me the test results. He's like, they're not, don't worry about it. You'll see her next checkup. We get there and he says, they found something on her brain, but you don't even worry about it. It's nothing. It doesn't require surgery. I called the doctor myself. I think I'm 24 at this time. And I called the doctor myself. We do the surgery anyway. The doctor, sweet as he could be, he said, had you waited another 2 months, your daughter would have died. Her brain had grown on top of her spinal cord. And where most people stop here, hers kept growing. So they had to go in and put a little set. She's a normal 24-year-old now. But had
Right.
I not listened, been an advocate for myself, for my child, where would we be? So how many women, go through that, especially in healthcare, from healthcare to HR to, all the things.
Okay, we are back with Yamitra and Ara, and we're talking some real talk about the opportunity gap in so many various ways. And Yamitra, before we stepped out, she was sharing a story about her daughter, and I can attest to that. Being a nurse and working in the emergency department and doing trauma for many years, not in clinical practice now, but for a long time I did that. I would see the disparity of care. I would see it, and I would tell my people of color, you need to ask questions. I'm not letting you go until you have complete clarity. If I come back in and you still not clear, guess what? I'm gonna bring the doctor back. Oh, but he busy. No, 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 because you're just as valuable as everybody else that comes through here that don't look like you. And so I've seen it, and there was many of stories chronicled and videotaped of African Americans and the treatments they got during COVID, particularly in 2020. And when I saw that video of that surgeon, I mean, of that physician, God rest her soul and may she rest in peace. But that physician was a physician, and she wasn't a, like, by the way, you know what, correspondence school physician. She was a real bona fide physician, and she was documenting how she was being treated and how they would not provide her medication and all kind of stuff. It's a real thing. It's a real thing, and you take it from medical to even how you were saying your daughter. You know, for you to apply for a scholarship at the black school, where they're supposed to be helping you out, right? 97,000 steps. You go to the white schools, like click, click, bam, you good to go. You know,
Yes.
but yet they'll say all the time, oh, well, we're providing this for you. And yeah, you're providing stuff for us, but you're providing stuff for us and you're making it so complex and
Yes.
it becomes so convoluted that it's not actually helpful. It's a hindrance. And
Yeah.
so there is this opportunity gap. And I don't care what people say, if you don't walk in the shoes of women that look like us, you have no experience. As a registered nurse in the emergency department, I was one of two African Americans. The other African American was a male nurse who was old enough to be my daddy, and he was a great nurse, you know, great nurse. But it was just two of us. I had to have more certifications. I had to have a higher grade point average to get into emergency room nursing from right out of nursing school. You would not believe the extra stuff I had just to get that basic level RN staff one position when I first started there. So um it's not equal. It's not equal playing field. I'm not really sure how we can make it equal, but having this dialogue about the experiences that we go through, because I don't think people really know what we go through, particularly as women of color. I don't think they really know what we go through, that the extra stuff that we have to do just to be considered a candidate for anything is ridiculous. Is absolutely ridiculous. So my next question is, um, do you believe there's a need? Wait a minute, let me write. Do you believe there's a public need to create opportunities beginning in the grade school level for girls, little girls, and girls of color, but just generally little girls, so that they can excel as they go through their educational experience? Do you think there do you believe there's a need to create more opportunities for little girls moving through the educational system to be successful? And let's start with you, Jan Mitra.
I would say, yeah. Just, and I would say a safe space for them to do that, you know, because I think it's harder when they are outside of their if you are a smarter child and you're outside of your comfort zone of being in your circle of people who may not be, then the process is really harder. So you try not to shine as bright. And then
Yeah.
you go to the other spectrum where you are the person of color and you're the only one and you're shining really bright. Well, now people are like, well, who do you think you are, shining bright? And so you damned if you do and you damned if you don't,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And so you
Yeah.
just don't know. And I think we need to give them a safe space, like inside of school, not the after school programs, not the weekend programs, but inside of the school that says, I'm smart, I'm good, and it's okay for me to say that.
I love that. I love that. What about you, Aura?
Oh
Do you
my
believe that we need
gosh.
to create more opportunities for us young, the girls in school? You know,
Yes. Yes. And yes to everything that Jamitra said. And to piggyback, safe also for them to be them. Because I think that we live in a society where we've grown up. I don't know about you, but there was a lot of cultural stuff that I had to like really release for me to really be who I really am. That's a whole different
hmm
story, but whatever.
that's another show.
That's another show. And when we do not grow up knowing, feeling, and believing that it is safe for us to be who we are, however way that looks like, and I really mean it because for me it was my looks, but that's a whole different show again. No matter how you are, where you come from, you grow up with so many conditions and so many unnecessary issues, let's put it that way, that prevents you even further from expanding and growing and even embracing the opportunities that are meant for you, that are there for you, that are available for you. So yeah, yeah.
Oh, I love it. I love it. We've got a very short time in this broadcast, but I do want to thank you ladies and for being here with regards to the topic we're discussing. We have viewers that have been with us and have been watching the whole time. And here's the funny thing, the viewers are male. They're not females. And so I think men tend to be a little bit more receptive and responsive to what we're talking about. And we just got a whole bunch of loving hearts. Thank you, fellas. Just got a whole bunch of loving hearts because I think because they're outside of our gender, they can see some stuff that women that are inside, or other females, we tend to be like, oh, she just whatever, and not really, because they haven't experienced it, right? Or we want too much, or we too extra, whatever. But because they haven't experienced it, it becomes like we're asking for something that we shouldn't be asking for. Whereas I think guys, because they're on the outside of our gender, they actually can see the whole perspective of it and totally understand. I don't know how we change it, but I do think dialogue and what the conversations that we're having this evening is a start to bringing realization to the real deal here.
Yes.
But we are at our time. Dang it, this time goes by so doggone fast. But first of all, I want to say thank you to all of you that are watching, that will see the show. If you like what you see, please subscribe to the show. Also, I'll have access available. So if you want to connect with the ladies that you love what they had to share, or you just want to connect with them because they're just beautiful, because they are, their information will be available for you as well. But because we are limited on our time and we have to pop out, I just want to say thank you for watching. Please subscribe to the show, share it with everyone you love and care about. And I'm Rochelle Marie Lawson, the Queen of Feeling Fabulous, with my beautiful guests Aura E. Martinez and Jan Mitra. And you'll have to catch us next time as we explore more about issues that affect us women here in today's society. Take good care, everybody. And until next time, be healthy, wealthy, and wise. And please be safe out there. Sending lots of love and healing energy to all of you. Goodbye for now.